They had walked out of bondage, leaving behind the chains and whips of their oppressors. A nation of slaves, newly freed from Egypt, now tasted the air of liberty for the first time in generations. But freedom came with its own challenges, as they now faced the vast Sinai wilderness. Their journey was a pilgrimage, a step into the unknown, toward a destiny they barely understood, a future shrouded in both promise and uncertainty. For generations they had been shaped by servitude, their spirits bent under the weight of endless labor, their identity nearly erased, their culture suppressed, their very sense of self almost lost to the sands of time. Now, led by Moses, a man chosen by destiny, they moved as a people in motion, a river of humanity flowing through the arid landscape, heading for a mountain, a beacon in the distance, where the divine was said to touch the earth, a place of revelation and transformation. This was Sinai, a place of stark beauty and profound spiritual significance, the mountain of God, a symbol of hope and divine encounter, where Moses first encountered the burning bush, a sign that changed his life forever, and received his call, the divine command to lead his people to freedom. The mountain loomed ahead, a silent sentinel watching over their weary journey, a silent promise against the sky, a beacon of hope in the vast expanse of the desert. The Israelites had witnessed miracles, wonders that defied explanation, the parted sea, a testament to the power of the divine, manna from heaven, sustenance in the barren wilderness, water from rock, quenching their thirst in the desolate land, each leading them here to this sacred place. At Sinai, they would receive a covenant, a sacred agreement with God, a code of laws to define their identity, to guide their actions and to shape their destiny. This was to be the birthplace of their nationhood, the moment they would truly become a people, not in a city with its walls and its structures, but in the stark emptiness of the desert, a place of vulnerability and dependence on God. The journey had tested and hardened them, stripping away their illusions and revealing their true selves, but also left them vulnerable, exposed to the elements and to their own doubts. They stood between a past of slavery, a life of oppression and despair, and an uncertain future, a path fraught with challenges and unknowns. The memory of Egypt lingered, a tempting whisper of familiarity and false security, and the wilderness bred both faith and anxiety, a constant tension between hope and fear. As they camped in Sinai's shadow, they waited, their hearts filled with anticipation and trepidation. On the edge of a promise, breath held, poised on the threshold of a new era. For the voice of God, the word that would shape their destiny, to give them a new way to live, a new purpose, and a new hope. The moment of transformation was at hand, the dawn of a new beginning was about to break. Anticipation filled the camp, a palpable sense of expectation hung heavy in the air. It was rising with the smoke of their fires, each plume a silent prayer, a hopeful signal reaching towards the heavens. The people expected confirmation, a sign that their long journey had reached its destined purpose. They were told they were chosen, delivered by a mighty hand, guided through the wilderness by miracles unseen before. Now they awaited the terms of that relationship, the covenant that would bind them to their divine benefactor. A divine blueprint for their new society, a set of laws and principles to guide their lives and shape their destiny. Moses had ascended the mountain, a solitary figure against the vast, imposing landscape. He was disappearing into the cloud, acting as their intermediary, bridging the gap between the earthly and the divine. The people purified themselves, washing away the remnants of their past. They were preparing for a divine encounter, a moment that would forever alter their understanding of the world and their place within it. They expected a spectacle, a display of power and glory. God descending in fire, a consuming presence that would leave no doubt of his authority. They anticipated thunder, the voice of God resonating through the heavens, and the blast of a shofar, a piercing sound that would announce the arrival of their king. They also expected a king, a ruler to guide and protect them, not a man but their God, unseen and powerful, a sovereign whose reign would extend beyond the limits of human comprehension. This was to be a coronation, a moment of formal recognition and acceptance of divine rule. They would receive his laws, pledge allegiance, vowing to uphold his commandments, and he would be their protector, a shield against their enemies, a source of unwavering strength. Beneath these expectations was a simple desire, a yearning for something more profound. Clarity, a clear understanding of their purpose and destiny. After centuries of slavery, generations of suffering and oppression, they needed to know how to live, worship, and express their devotion. and be a people set apart, distinct from all other nations, defined by their unique relationship with God. Sinai would answer their deepest question, the question that had haunted them for generations. Who are we? What is our purpose? The laws would transform them from a tribe of former slaves, a wandering people without a home or identity, into the people of God, a nation bound by covenant, united in purpose and destined for greatness. Weeks passed. Moses remained on the mountain, hidden by cloud. In the camp, awe turned to impatience and fear. The silence from above was unnerving. Doubt spread quickly. The people, desperate for something tangible, demanded a God they could see. Aaron, overwhelmed, gave in. He gathered their gold and forged a golden calf. The people proclaimed, "These are your gods, O Israel, who brought you out of Egypt." They built an altar, offered sacrifices, and celebrated wildly. In one act, they broke the very covenant they were waiting to receive. At the foot of Sinai, they committed their greatest mistake. The Israelites' failure was rooted in fear, not malice. With Moses gone, they felt abandoned in a hostile wilderness. Their demand for a physical God was a desperate need for security. Centuries in Egypt had shaped their religious imagination. Gods were things you could see and touch. The idea of an invisible God was revolutionary and hard to grasp. When left alone, they reverted to what they knew, a golden idol. Impatience played its part. The silence from the mountain felt like a delay they couldn't bear. The calf was an attempt to seize control, to force the divine hand. Leadership failed too. Aaron, unable to stand firm, enabled their fear. The golden calf was as much a failure of leadership as of faith. In crisis, they chose the comfort of the familiar over the challenge of trust. Moses descended, radiant from his encounter with God, carrying the stone tablets of the covenant. But instead of reverence, he found his people worshiping an idol. In fury, Moses shattered the tablets, a symbol of the broken covenant. He destroyed the calf, ground it to powder, and made the people drink it, a bitter lesson. Moses confronted Aaron, whose excuses only deepened the sense of catastrophe. The reckoning was swift. Moses called for those loyal to God, and the Levites rallied to him. What followed was a painful purge, a day of judgment and sorrow. The joy of the golden calf dissolved into mourning and bloodshed. The camp was no longer a place of celebration, but of reckoning. The consequences were immediate and severe. The people faced the reality of their betrayal. The covenant, once within reach, was now shattered. Sinai became a place of deep sorrow and hard lessons. The golden calf incident left a permanent scar on Israel's soul. It became the archetypal story of failure, retold for generations. The direct encounter with God at Sinai was withdrawn. The relationship changed. Moses carved new tablets, but now a formal priesthood was needed to mediate. Spontaneous access to the divine was replaced by ritual and law. The generation that built the calf was condemned to wander for 40 years. Their journey became a decades-long ordeal, a consequence of broken trust. The shadow of the calf shaped their entire wilderness experience. The episode cemented the importance of law in their identity. The laws became a protective barrier against repeating the disaster. The memory of the calf justified the intricate system of sacrifices and observances. It was a system born from catastrophic failure. The story of the golden calf, a tale etched in the annals of history, is a timeless lesson about trust, patience, and the enduring human struggle to maintain faith in the face of uncertainty. It resonates even today. The Israelites failed because they could not endure the silence, the waiting, the perceived absence of their leader, or trust the process, the divine plan unfolding in ways they couldn't immediately comprehend. We too crave certainty and quick answers, a world where everything is immediately knowable and controllable, and our faith can falter in the unknown, when the path ahead is shrouded in mist and doubt creeps in. The story reminds us that true trust means not demanding immediate gratification, but remaining steadfast without all the answers, holding on to hope even when surrounded by uncertainty. It's also a meditation on leadership, a study in contrast between two very different approaches. Moses stood for truth, unwavering in his commitment, while Aaron capitulated to fear, seeking to appease the crowd. The narrative asks, do we value courage in our leaders, the strength to stand against the tide of popular opinion, or just comfort, the easy path, the immediate solution, even if it compromises our values? The Israelites' desire for a tangible God, something they could see and touch and control, reflects our own urge to control the divine, to fit the infinite into the confines of our understanding. True faith, the story insists, demands more of us. It means grappling with mystery, not reducing it to our terms, embracing the unknown rather than fearing it. The Sinai mistake is our story, a cautionary tale for all generations, a warning about the fragility of faith and the danger of fear, a reminder that even the most devout can stumble. Even in failure, the path to redemption and renewal remains open, a testament to the enduring power of hope. The echo of Sinai calls us to, even now, reflection, repentance, and hope, urging us to learn from the past and build a more faithful future.